Sam, did you know the Russians are more dangerous than the Welsh?
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, let's face it, the Russians have got nuclear weapons and the Welsh have got sheep.
Well, either way, you're fucked, aren't you? So, on this edition of the Train Now Story, we'll be looking at Train of Events, the Charles Crichton film from 1948, which isn't a comedy, even if it is built by Ealing Studios. The film focuses around a train crash and the events of the characters leading up to it, hence the title. The story focuses around an engine driver, an ex-Nazi, a bad actor, and a composer who has 2 women following after him. So, on the basis of that, the story sounds like quite a good Sunday afternoon film, wouldn't you say?
Yes. However, I would dispute it not being a comedy. It is a comedy.
There's
in
bits
its own
of comedy
right.
in
It
there.
may not
It's
be
accidentally a comedy.
It is accidentally
I
a
think.
comedy. There are far too many moments there where I laughed out loud.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't care what they say. It's a comedy.
Yes, it is. Stella! Yelling out the window. Stella! No,
Yes,
yeah.
dear?
It's one of the many humorous moments.
Yes. Definitely your favourite.
Yeah, one of my favourite.
It seems to have a habit of building scenes up, which then makes you think that something bad's going to happen, and then something completely out the blue happens. Like the hitman, who just runs after the the ex-Nazi and his girlfriend, only to put more money on a horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
Right
one of the
the fuck out of nowhere.
exact comedy moment. That and the moment with the cash box. That wonderful build-up of music for absolutely no payoff.
I'm going to steal the money, and then that's it.
And I haven't stolen enough, it turns out.
Yes.
Yes. Who doesn't take the whole lot? You don't leave a little bit in the bottom.
You go all
take
out.
the lot,
You go all out.
and then you get the fuck out of there.
But as we have learned, it turns out that money doesn't pay.
Crime
Yes,
doesn't pay.
Crime doesn't pay.
Money doesn't pay? Crime doesn't pay. money
No, money
doesn't
pays.
pay.
Money pays.
Although money doesn't pay either, as we've
No,
learned.
this is true. But crime definitely doesn't pay.
Yeah.
At least not like it used to.
No.
It's interesting, actually. They have the train crash first, and then the 4 stories sort of in the build-up after the classic 3 days earlier.
3 days.
But
earlier.
it's nice that they focus most of the attention on the engine driver's story. I kind of like that. I think we all like that as railway enthusiasts.
Yes,
Well, yes.
yes. Also highlighting the major problems of shift work.
Yeah.
Yes. In more ways than one.
Yes.
Firstly, you've got the whole his marriage is kind of a bit, well, not on the rocks, but his wife is now just about started to complain
Yes.
Yeah.
about the whole him doing shift
I
work,
can
coming in all hours of the night.
I can understand that though. I mean, railway wives go through a hell of a lot.
Yeah. As emphasised by his girlfriend.
I think it's probably a little bit
Yeah,
better
that's
now. Not by much. I can say that my cousin is a railwayman's wife, and it's not that much easier.
No.
But I think it's definitely easier than it was. Mainly because you don't have the same level of intensity of work now. So you're not as shattered when you come in.
But if we have learnt one thing from what he did during the film, crash train, get promoted.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, generally the film, if your life's going a bit shit, get involved in a train crash and everything will work out fine.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you're going to die.
Like the bad actor's wife.
So essentially, if
And
you...
the bad actor.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it. Kills his wife, dies. Steals money, dies. Everyone else, fine.
Even if you crash the train.
Yeah, but it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't
for
his
crashing the
fault.
train.
That's a fair point.
I blame the arsehole who was waving his torch far too fucking close to the scene of the accident.
What I want to know is we didn't get the story of the person driving the lorry.
No. Why
Exactly.
not?
Why didn't we get that story?
And what
Because-
is Paul?
Yeah, what is Paul? Oh no, hang on, no, we know what pool is. It's that, isn't it? It's like snooker, but slightly worse.
Yeah, but why would you have that on a lorry?
Because
The,
you
unfortunate,
can.
the unfortunate thing is, viewers, I have to work with these two. It's... So,
Story.
yeah, marks for story. I'm on the basis that I found it quite entertaining, and I can't really find anything story-wise that wrong with it. I'd say 2.5.
Yeah, I'd probably go with you on that on 2.5. I can't find much wrong with it.
I'm tempted to say 3 because I can't find anything wrong with it.
No, it's good.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. It gave me laughs. If anything, the only way it would possibly lose points is by the fact that they don't classify it as a comedy when it blatantly is.
Well, I did look at the back of the DVD earlier. It does mention comedy.
Good.
So there you go.
Good. So they've since reclassified it as a comedy. For me,
Along with a whole bunch of other descriptions for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
for me, it's that last bit with the orchestra, just everyone just like broken limbs everywhere, and then the incredibly pervy look from the conductor at the end. Oi, oi. You on the harp? Yeah, you're next.
Yeah.
I'm going to string you along for the next 6 months.
Yes. Technicals.
Technicals.
Yes.
Technicals.
Wrong bullied whistle.
Wrong whistle for most
Really?
things.
In
You're
fact,
going
yes,
on
wrong
that?
whistle for most things.
It's an Ealing comedy. Do you expect them to get that right?
Well, it's not an Ealing comedy, is it?
Okay, it's an Ealing, not quite comedy. Do you expect them to get that right?
Yes.
No,
Because
you're setting your standards way too high there, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm a pedantic bastard, so...
Yeah, we established that. But that still doesn't give you an excuse to have a go at Ealing.
It does, I studied
No,
there.
he doesn't.
I studied there, I can slate it.
I studied Ealing films in general.
I studied at Ealing. I
I
know what
studied
they've
at
got.
Bath Spa.
I know what they've got. And as such, I'm prepared to slate them. They should have had teams of people out recording every type of locomotive, so they had a complete library.
Oh, we need to go get the
Oh,
juicy
yes.
nuts.
Is that your only gripe?
No, it's not.
Why am I not
Come
surprised?
on then, what's a more legitimate gripe?
Okay,
Apart
a slightly more legitimate gripe is the jump cuts and the continuity.
It is a little bit.
There are times, most of the time it's okay, but there are places where the continuity is so out. It's
Yeah,
almost
the
painful.
magic disappearing hat,
Yes,
I think they thought they could get away with it because he was in the process of taking it off.
kind of.
So
But
it's
the
one of
the
those. if you-
change of street. I'm running towards building. Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah, I made the comment of the woman who's going out with the ex-Nazi.
Yes.
She at one point she was running towards a desolate factory or whatever, it is,
Yeah.
and then suddenly in a street, and she was only
no
running
apparent
towards.
reason.
She was only running towards the factory for about a second
Exactly.
or two.
Yes. Other obvious jump cut, which I think is completely inexcusable. Okay, I can understand if you pick a class of locomotive, bearing in mind that they were fairly widely available in those days. You pick a class of locomotive and you
And
have
then
a
you
different number on them. If you can't get the exact same locomotive, but you get the same class, that's fine. But when you're jumping about
With
between
seven-
Black Fives, Rose Scots,
Patriots, Duchesses,
Duchesses,
Princess
the
Royals.
basically, I'm surprised there wasn't a Ginty Hall in that express, to be honest. It was about the only class of LMS loco we didn't see hauling it.
You can take him twice.
Wants to apologise.
So technicals overall.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit more generous and say that the night cinematography in it does make up.
It's a damn sight better than train time.
This is
Anything's better than train time.
Maybe one day we'll cover a film that is a lot worse than train time.
Maybe yes.
One day.
Maybe sooner rather than later. We'll come to that in time.
I'm
But
talking about night photography, though.
Yes, so am I. Yep, there is worse than train time on the market. In a pretty high-class film as well. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So what did you give it for technicals again?
Technicals, well, barring the continuity issues that this film has, I'm prepared to give it 1.5. I think. Because the night cinematography is very good, and as a visual historical document, it's nice to see Wilston in Steam days. It's nice to see Euston in its original condition. It's nice to see London sort of post-war.
Yeah.
So on that basis, it makes up in those those aspects, but not so much on the continuity. So it gets 1.5.
I think I agree with you on the night photography was one of the better bits of the film. But some of the incidental music was a bit
Over dramatic.
over dramatic, especially the money bit. So I think I'm not going to give quite as much. Give it a 1 on technicals for me.
See, I've got my gripes about it, but actually, on the whole, it was well filmed. I mean, you look at some of the types of shot they used. Some of the 2 shots were very well composed.
Some nice Dutch angles in there.
Yes.
I saw 1 Dutch angle.
I saw
I
3.
saw 2. Okay, so between us we saw...
Multiple
We saw
Dutch
all of
angles.
So what we've established is I saw the correct number, you've missed one, and you just made one up.
That's what you think.
No. No, I'm going to give it a 2. Just simply because okay, they've buggered up on the continuity. They've buggered up on the editing in the cuts, in some of the cuts. But actually not that many. All in all, well lit, incredibly well lit throughout.
Yeah.
You have the shadows where you need the atmosphere. You've got the nice blanket lighting where you need it. So on the technical front, it's done really well.
Yeah.
And I think that should be credited with a whole 2 points.
Yeah. Okay. Credit where credit's due. So general appeal.
Very appealing.
Yes.
I think this has more appeal than most of the films we have been covering. It's there's a bit more of a story in there that most people can kind of get into.
Yeah.
It's not just revolving around one particular thing.
You could serialise it and release it in parts throughout the
You
week
could.
in
Yeah,
place
you
of
could.
extenders, and it'd still be a better series.
Well, maybe not quite maybe EastEnders. I'm trying to think of something else. I can vaguely remember watching.
No, I'd allow it to replace EastEnders.
Well, okay.
So would I. This is definitely the better series.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's not what I was trying to get at. But still,
It's got all the elements of EastEnders in it. There's someone having an affair. There's
Someone
a
hiding
murder. There's
said murderer hiding the dead body.
and there's a crap actor.
same man.
Oh no, wait, sorry, he's actually a part of a crap actor, not a... Yeah, no, I think it is appealing to pretty much everybody, except for, as we've brought up time and time again, the sad, uncultured individuals in this world who won't watch black and white. I reiterate, sad individuals.
It's a shame, but unfortunately in many cases it's true. Watch black and white films, damn it!
So, score.
Well, on the basis that I really don't want to mark it down for being black and white, I'm going to give it 3.5 because it's very solid.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I give it
same here, 3.5.
Yeah. You recommend yay or nay?
I'd recommend
Yeah.
it, yeah. In
Yeah.
fact,
Agreed.
there's many of these films that we've watched that I'd say I'd recommend it to rail enthusiasts or social history people, but I wouldn't recommend it to... This one, I'd recommend to anyone. I'd even recommend it to people who don't like watching black and white films, because I think actually this would be quite a nice one to actually
introduce
get
them
into
onto.
it.
Yeah.
Uncultured bastards.
But yeah, this is probably a film that most people could get into in one way or another. They want to find out what's going on, what's happening. It's like, oh, what's going to happen next, sort of thing. I think it helps that it's I say compartmentalised, but they have the stories running along, kind of in parallel, sort of thing.
Yes.
See little bits.
Yeah. So, another 3 recommendations all round.
Well, hey.
Check it out.